Hello and welcome to Eye on Africa here on France 24. I'm Clarisse Fortuné and these are the headlines. It's official. The United States is no longer part of a climate agreement that should have helped South Africa to switch from coal to green energy, a loss estimated at $1 billion. Public relations stunt in Rwanda. Journalists were taken to a mining site as the country faces recurring accusations of exploiting neighbouring DRC natural resources. Africa has the highest rate of female entrepreneurial activity in the world. But as we're about to mark International Women's Day, we'll see that many obstacles continue to hold women back. The United States has officially pulled out of the Just Energy Transition Partnership, a pact formed during COP26 to help South Africa transition from coal to renewable energy. Washington's withdrawal will cut $1 billion in funding, and it follows the dismantling of another major energy initiative, Power Africa, ended by Donald Trump last week. Tom Canetti explains.
So the goal of this partnership was to phase South Africa away from coal towards renewable energy, and also to provide electricity to South Africans who are currently without it. So the US withdrawing from the partnership will mean $1 billion less in funding to projects like the Komati coal plant, repurposing into a renewable energy facility. That will likely take much longer now. Saying that the $1 billion is only about 10% of the total funding of the partnership, the rest coming from the EU and the UK. But Donald Trump has also dismantled Power Africa, which is an initiative that was founded by Barack Obama in 2013 that aimed to provide electricity to 60 million Africans across the continent who were without it. As of December last year, about 37 million people had been, homes had been provided with electricity, but the rest of them will no longer benefit from this initiative. And just to give an example of the communities who are benefiting from Power Africa, in the Eastern Cape here in South Africa, the Cougar local municipality had started rolling out electricity connections to its informal settlements, and these are the poorest people in South Africa who often don't even have running water. So that's going to be devastating for them to no longer have hope for electricity.
We head now to Rwanda, to a cassiterite mine. That's an oxide mineral. Our team was invited by the Rwanda Mines Board to visit the site on the outskirts of the capital, Kigali. The aim for Rwanda, to publicize its mineral production as the country faces recurring accusations of illegally exploiting the natural resources of its neighbor, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Juliette Montilli was there for France 24.
Gamiko mine, just a few miles from the Rwandan capital. Diplomatic backlash has mounted over Kigali's alleged backing of Congolese M23 rebels in order, some say, to get its hands on Congolese resources. So the Rwandan Mine Board invited the press to come have a look at some homegrown bounty. On the tightly scheduled visit, we were shown miners extracting cassiterite.
Gamiko currently produces 28 tons per month. 28 tons of cassiterite. It's a company that works on 200 hectares, mainly in underground mines, and they've built 8 tunnels that are linked together to form a network of around 15 kilometers.
As I said, Rwanda is regularly accused of illegally sourcing minerals from its neighbor. Last April, the M23 seized the Rubaya mine in DRC. About 15% of the world's coltan comes from there. That same year, Rwanda's mining sector saw a 26% increase in revenue, including a sharp 42% rise in coltan exports. Rwanda says it follows all the rules for mineral supply chains and does its due diligence on traceability. But it's still got some convincing to do with the EU. Last week, the bloc announced a rethink of a lucrative minerals agreement it had signed with Rwanda less than a year ago.
Greenpeace has condemned BP for a gas leak that has been ongoing for several weeks at a new field off the coast of Senegal and Mauritania. The British oil giant has been operating there since January, aiming to produce nearly 3 million tons of liquefied natural gas per year. BP confirmed the leak on Wednesday and said work was underway to repair it. Our regional correspondent Caitlin Kelly has the update.
Only operational for a few months, a liquefied natural gas field off the coast of Senegal and Mauritania has reported a leakage. Mauritanian authorities say they discovered the leak on February 19th at BP's GTA site. British Petroleum have said repairs are now underway to contain the leakage, but say that damage should be minimal given the slow rate of release. Greenpeace Africa on Thursday said that even one single spill has the potential to wipe out decades of biodiversity. While Senegalese fishermen from Saint Louis say that their health, their livelihoods and their communities are now at risk. The plant itself, opened in January, is expected to produce 2.3 million metric tons of liquefied natural gas per year in its first phase. Developed by BP and US-listed Cosmos Energy, it's also expected to be a large source of revenue for Senegal and Mauritania. Both authorities say that investigations are underway to contain the situation and find out what happened.
Now, as we're about to celebrate Women's Day, let's head to Kenya. Books and television shows have started to center Black girls as heroes, problem solvers and adventurers, challenging long-standing gender stereotypes. While male-led narratives have long dominated bookshelves and screens, a new wave of Kenyan authors, illustrators and media creators is reshaping the way young girls see themselves and their futures. Olivia Abizo has more on the story.
He's a maker, creator, a super technovator.
A show that has an African girl as its lead is not something people are used to seeing. Behind this series is a Kenyan team who's inspiring the next generation of women, who, like Super Sema, will be able to use science, technology, engineering and maths to solve the world's biggest problems.
Growing up, I didn't really see characters who looked like me, sounded like me, or represented the reality that I'm from. So just to have Sema as the center of a STEM world is showing girls that they can be engineers, innovators, technology.
Books are also shedding light on young Kenyan girls. This story educates children about consent. The author is working to expand access in underprivileged areas, offering young readers characters that they can relate to.
There wasn't, any literature that specifically spoke about body autonomy coming written by a Kenyan, published here or printed here. And so it was very, very important to me to uplift the stories by us, for us.
Local feminist organizations are working to ensure that these stories contribute to a larger cultural shift.
We decided to come up with this segment, We Are Feminist Kids, so that we can start having age-appropriate feminist conversations with children to help them understand and to give them language around certain issues.
Last year, Kenya recorded about 170 femicide cases. The hope is that educating future generations will help break the taboo around this violence.
An International Women's Day takes place each year on March 8th, an opportunity to highlight the need for gender equality and women's empowerment. And one woman is actually working on that specific goal, Grace Nafuna. She's the founder of Arise in Business Initiative, a non-profit organization dedicated to transforming the lives of women by building entrepreneurial capacity. Thank you very much, Grace Nafuna. Thank you for joining us and joining the program. Alors, first, as an African woman entrepreneur, so what inspired you to start Arise?
So Arise came from a very big internal need of just seeing plenty of women that are very talented but are not able to grow their businesses due to a lack of financial literacy and access to resources. They also were struggling to, get digital skills. So mine was to bridge that gap in terms of providing financial literacy, digital skills, and overall skills training. So we are playing an intermediary role, so to speak, whereby we are leading these women to opportunities and resources and helping them learn digital skills and financial literacy.
So Grace, I said at the beginning of the program that actually Africa has the highest rate of female entrepreneurial activity in the world, and that's about 24%. So, but most of them run informal businesses. So what can be done to formalize their venture?
So absolutely, I think we need policies on the government level to help these women, first of all, have business registration services at very minimal cost or no cost at all. This will go a long way in helping them formalize their businesses. Secondly, we also need to do a lot of community trainings, community initiatives to show them the way. A lot of women are just doing things, in their communities by their own. They have no idea how to navigate these systems and processes. So it's very important for governments across the African continent to come down to the grassroots and really teach these women on how to formalize their businesses. On our part as NGOs and civil society organizations, we are really trying to fill in the gap where governments have been slow, and that's what we are doing. We are partnering with some of these bodies to help women register and formalize their businesses.
So are you based in Uganda? So give me an example. How difficult it is for women in Uganda to get access to funding?
Absolutely difficult. And recently we had the Grow Fund coming, which is a World Bank project that gives loans to women. But even then, it was the policies, the loans were coming through banks. So a lot of women, for example, in rural areas do not have bank accounts. They have no access to that kind of fund. They are not able to use that funding at all. So we see that just socially and culturally, women do not inherit land, and yet banks require women to have collateral to get loans. And in some cases, banks don't even give women loans unless they come with a male partner. So we see that there's a lot of social cultural, norms to navigate, but even more so the level of illiteracy, especially financial illiteracy amongst women, means that they do not know how to, for example, apply for a bank loan. They don't even know how to, put together books of accounts that are required by the bank. So there's a lot of skills. There's a lot of financial literacy training that is required.
And I'm guessing it's also linked to the same difficulty to get access to, for example, technology.
Absolutely. And now that we are moving more towards a technology-based economy, it becomes much more difficult because women aren't able to access markets due to a lack of digital literacy. And then they are also not able to use, some of the opportunities that come with, say, using mobile phones, such as access to loans and more financial resources.
But I'm sure not everything is doom and gloom. So what would you say to a young entrepreneur? What advice would you give her?
Resilience is key. Consistency is key. You cannot underrate. Resilience and consistency will take you where talent cannot. And these are skills that I find in my own personal journey have been very key. If you are consistent and you stay at something for quite some time, you will learn how to navigate your way around and be able to succeed. But most importantly, seek out like-minded people, believe in yourself, believe in your potential, take risks, do not be afraid, because a lot of what keeps women back is fear. So we have to let go of that fear and go after what we truly want or what our purpose is. But also it's very, very important to work in partnerships with one another. I find that oftentimes what limits women is that they want to work in silos. So seek out like-minded people or partnerships.
And help, and don't be afraid of asking for help. I will remember resilience is key. Thank you very much, Grace Nafuna. She's the founder of a Rise in Business initiative. Thank you very much. That concludes our edition of Eye on Africa. Thank you for watching.
In 2017 in Bangassou in the Central African Republic, a cathedral became a symbol of resistance and peace. When the Muslim community came under attack, the diocese opened its doors to over 2,000 Muslims who took refuge there.
We thought they were going to stay 4 months, but they stayed 4 years. And so little by little, they moved in to save their own lives. And we possibly avoided a genocide.
Despite the clergy's efforts to achieve peaceful coexistence, fighting between armed groups driven by political issues is proving an obstacle to rebuilding.
These are not religious conflicts. They are armed groups fighting each other, not Christians fighting Muslims.
Watch Bangassou Revisited on France 24.